I'd first like to thank CASES for inviting us to participate in the International Arts Education Week. As a mother, grandmother, artist, educator, and administrator, the arts have consistently played a critical role in my life with my family and in my professional career. The music you hear is my son playing the 21-string instrument called kora. He learned the kora from his father as a part of the Manding tradition known as Jalia, a tradition that is passed down from generation to generation in families of oral historians and musicians in West Africa. The first row of pictures is my son and daughter, both who are artists and educators, and my grandchildren in the center, who are also learning these traditions. The picture below are a group of Wolftrap teaching artists attending a professional training in the Washington, D.C. area, a classroom of children participating with Wolftrap in a partner school in India, and education partners in Singapore. Engaging my children, grandchildren, and students in high-quality arts and cultural experiences has been an important contributing factor for their overall education to help anchor their development as contributing citizens to the world and in life. Through my 40-plus years in my career and with my family, I have realized that my interactions with my children, grandchildren, and students differ based on the particular child or student. How I engage with each of them over time, I am consistently observing their unique personalities, adapting to support them to build upon their individual strengths through their various stages of development, while enhancing their skills so that they may conquer their personal challenges and thrive as good human beings. These principles for supporting my children, grandchildren, and students have guided me through my professional career and completely align with how I serve as Vice President of Education at Wolftrap Foundation for the Performing Arts. And very likely, many of you share these same principles as parents, grandparents, caregivers, and educators. Today, I am pleased to have this opportunity to speak with you about the Foundation's flagship education program, Wolftrap Institute for Early Learning Through the Arts. I will share information how Wolftrap Institute utilizes arts integration as a powerful teaching tool for customizing instruction and learning and enriching the lives of children. You will be invited to participate with me and my colleagues in an arts learning experience. Through our interaction today, it is my hope that you will agree and see the values for how learning in and through the arts help to lay the foundation for young children's school readiness and supports their development and their essential life skills. Let me give you some background about Wolftrap Institute and how we approach arts education for young children. Wolftrap Institute was founded in 1981 after a request from the United States Department of Health and Human Services Office of Head Start, the government agency that promotes the school readiness of young children in families who are economically disadvantaged. Wolftrap Institute continues to work with Head Start and Early Head Start at the national, regional, and local levels, while also independently expanding the program to include working with government public schools districts, social service organizations, agencies, public libraries, as well as non-government schools and early childhood centers. In the United States, early childhood research, practice, and planning frequently refer to the early childhood continuum as being from birth to 8 years old. The goal of Wolftrap Institute is to support the learning of our youngest children by giving them rich experiences in the arts and to prepare early childhood teachers to engage students in active learning utilizing arts-integrated techniques. Now let me break that down for you into the three major components of what we do: early childhood education, teacher professional development, and arts integration. We focus on early childhood because if we can have a positive effect on children's learning in their earliest years, they are set up for future success. Extensive research shows that the development of the brain architecture during a child's earliest years of life forms 1 million new neural connections every second. Children's earliest experiences affect that quality of that brain architecture. These connections provide the foundation for all future learning, behavior, and health. This is why we focus on professional development for teachers and caregivers, because we know if students are to be successful, teachers must be equipped and prepared with effective tools and training. By engaging young children in high-quality, rich multi-sensory learning experiences, their teachers and caregivers are providing effective strategies to aid children in shaping their brains as their children learn to function physically, socially, linguistically, at home, in school, and in the community. And we focus on arts integration because the arts are an engaging way for children to learn. Arts integration is instruction that infuses content and skills from the arts with other curricular subjects. Arts integrated learning combines content and skills in dance, music, drama, and visual arts with language, literacy, science, and math. Arts integration occurs when there is a seamless blending of the content and skills of an art form with those of another curricular subject. Right now, I'd like to invite my colleagues, Wolftrap Master Teaching Artist Christina Farrell and Turling Tard to the stage. And together, we would like to engage you in an arts integrated learning experience that happens with teachers and young children in an early childhood classroom. Now, right now, I need you to access your inner child, okay? And as you do this, I want you to participate with us in this experience. You don't have to stand up, but you can do it in your seats. As you do this experience, take mental note of the interaction of dance, drama, social, emotional, and math skills young children may learn. Our inspiration for this experience is the children's literature book, Muncha, 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 by Candace Fleming and illustrated by G. Brian Karras. So the story takes place in the garden of Mr. McGreely. And Mr. McGreely had a beautiful vegetable garden. He'd had carrots and cabbage and tomatoes. And Mr. McGreely was very proud of his vegetable garden. He was very happy. Let me see your happy faces. Let me see that. You have to show me happy faces. What does that look like? And so that evening, Mr. McGreely went home. Well, in the nighttime, bunny rabbits came to his garden, and they did this. Tippy-toe, tippy on, muncha, muncha, muncha. Can you do this in your chair? Tippy on, muncha, muncha, muncha. Say it. Tippy on, muncha, muncha, muncha. And they got in the garden, and they munched on all of the vegetables, and they jumped out of the garden. The next day, Mr. McGreely came back, and he saw that the bunny rabbits were in his garden and were eating his vegetables. And he said, I'm very sad. Let me see your sad faces. I'm very sad. The bunny rabbits got in my garden. But wait, I have an idea. I'm going to build a low wired fence around my garden. What am I building? A low wired fence. That made Mr. McGreely very happy. Let me see your happy faces again. You got to have happy faces. Yeah. And he went home. That night, the bunny rabbits came back. They saw that low wired fence, and they decided to hurdle over. What does that look like, Miss T? Oh, we all can do that. Let's do that. Hurdle over, muncha, muncha, muncha. Hurdle over, muncha, muncha, muncha. And the bunny rabbits got in the garden and they munched again. Let me see you munching. Yes. And they jumped off. Mr. McGreely came back the next morning. He saw the bunny rabbits got over his fence and they got in his garden again. And he was very upset. Let me see you're very upset. And then he said, I have an idea. I will build a high wooden fence. Those bunny rabbits won't get in. Can you build a high wooden fence? A high wooden fence. Mr. McGreely was happy again, and he smiled. Let me see you smile. And he went home. That night, the bunny rabbits came back. They saw that wooden fence, and you know what they did? They were digging under. How did they do that, Miss Christina? Let's all do that. Dig under, muncha, muncha, muncha. Again, dig under, muncha, muncha, muncha. And they got in the garden and they munched again. Let me see you munch. And they jumped off. The next day, Mr. McGreely came back. He saw the hole under his fence and they got in his garden. He was really upset. Let me see you're really upset. Really upset. And he said, I have an idea. I'm going to build a wide, wet trench. Let me see it. A wide, wet trench. And he poured water in his trench, and he said, those bunny rabbits won't get in. I'm very happy. And he smiled again, and he went home. That night, the bunny rabbits came back. They saw the wide, wet trench, and they started to paddle. Let's see how that looks. We're going to paddle through, muncha, muncha, muncha. They paddle through the water, paddle through, muncha, muncha, muncha. And they got into the garden, and they ate all them foods and the vegetables. And Mr. McGreely, and then they jumped off. Mr. McGreely came back the next day. He saw they got in his garden again. He was, I'm so angry. The first time those bunny rabbits came in my garden, they did tippy on, muncha, muncha, muncha. The second time they came in my garden, they did what? Hurdle over, muncha, muncha, muncha. The third time, they did what? Dig under, muncha, muncha, muncha. And the fourth time they came in, they did. They paddled through, muncha, muncha, muncha. I'm so angry. What am I going to do? And stop. Thank you, Miss T. Thank you, Miss Christina. So let's consider the skills children were learning when they do an experience like this. What are the drama and the movement skills? Drama, they identified character. They were involved in dialogue and storytelling. In movement, they did non-locomotive movement in place. They could have also moved out of place to do locomotive movement. They also started to build a sequence of movement that could be choreography. Creatively, we used questions. I asked Miss Christina and Miss T, what were their choices? I could have asked the children the same thing. What choices of movement will we do? How did the children use drama? They did social emotional skills. They explored that with, they said they were happy, sad, upset, angry. Through the character dialogue, they did it in character. And there was also conflict resolution because they have to figure out what's the next step they were going to take. What are the movement and the math skills? We repeated simple patterns using words and actions. There was also ordinal numbers, first, second, third, fourth. We used words to describe positions. We did up, under, around. We did all of those words. These very skills children need to succeed Problem solving, creativity, collaboration are intrinsic in arts integrated learning. The arts learning experience we did today integrated music, dance, literacy, and math content, demonstrating how children can learn skills across disciplines. Through active multisensory instruction, we're able to engage children in learning that is kinesthetic, auditory, visual, tactile, and verbal, layering and deepening children's learning experiences. We know as fact that when teachers engage children in active, multisensory learning through the arts, they are able to adapt their instructions to support the various learning modalities, support higher level thinking, and develop skills in communication, collaboration, and creativity. Earlier, I talked about the three major components of our program at the Wolftrap Institute: high-quality early childhood education, impactful professional development for early childhood educators, and effective arts integration strategies. Now let me tell you how we're bringing those components to life. Wolftrap Institute provides effective, high-quality professional development with early childhood educators. Wolftrap teaching artists, like our master teaching artists you saw here, train teachers in the classroom to use performing arts techniques to enhance instructional practice and achieve curricular goals set for young children. We customize the professional development to support the teacher's goal for her specific training needs, along with the learning goals for her students. This means we are customizing to specific standards of learning in the schools where we partner, along with being responsive to the children, their families, and the cultural practices in their communities. The arts are intrinsically tailored to help with this customization. Wolftrap teaching artists are our ambassadors in the field, and we want to make sure that they are fully prepared when they go out into the classroom. Wolftrap teaching artists are all professional performing artists who come to us with a background, experience, or interest in working with children and education. To prepare teaching artists for classroom residencies, they receive training from Wolftrap in early childhood development and how to reference and support curriculum standards. Then they learn how to apply performing arts skills and techniques to support student learning, and how to guide early childhood educators to integrate the arts in their instructional practice. And over the course of the residency, classroom teachers learn to integrate the arts into their daily instruction independently and long after they have completed the residency with Wolftrap. Independent research of the Wolftrap model, research from arts education and early childhood fields, and Wolftrap's Institute over 35 years of experience indicates that the infusion of arts integration strategies into curriculum content provides powerful teaching tools that enhance all areas of development, including social emotional growth, language and literacy, critical thinking, problem solving, communications, collaboration, creativity, and science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM. An independent study of Wolftrap's early STEM learning through the arts program, also known as Early STEM Arts, indicated that teachers using Wolftrap Institute's arts integrated early childhood strategies had a significant impact, positive impact on their children's learning in math. In fact, young students in the classroom of teachers trained in the early STEM arts program gained the equivalent of more than a month additional learning in math. In communities where arts education partners desire to have sustained arts integration programs of learning and instruction, a sponsoring organization may request to become a Wolftrap Institute affiliate. An affiliate is As an Institute affiliate, the organization replicates the Wolftrap Institute's model of performing arts integration learning and professional development. Wolftrap affiliates receive ongoing professional development and technical support from the Wolftrap Institute National Office. However, their programs are customized to engage teachers, schools, and early education centers, teaching artists as well, in their own communities. Currently, there are 20 Wolftrap Institute affiliates replicating the Institute's model of professional arts integration education. Over the past several years, Wolftrap has established partnerships at various levels of engagement in 30 states across the US and internationally. In fact, only last week, I was delighted to be in Singapore celebrating the announcement of our newest and first international affiliate, Singapore Wolftrap, under the sponsorship of the Singapore Repertory Theater. In communities and states where there are not Institute affiliates operating, our national Wolftrap program from our offices outside of Washington, D.C., send teaching artists to conduct arts integrated trainings through workshops, multi-day institutes, and classroom residencies. And we've had the pleasure to partner with cases this week doing some of those types of workshops and training. Finally, to support teachers after the residencies have ended and to extend our reach beyond the classroom, there's an online community of practice at the website education.wolftrap.org. The site provides access to resources such as lesson plans, instructional videos, audio clips, online forums, webinars, and other support materials. Finally, to quote a teacher who recently had a Wolftrap classroom residency, she said, and I quote, "It was a valuable reminder to return more to what I already know. Students learn best by doing. Active learning is the most effective way of learning for preschoolers. As an educator, I have often found myself looking at what we don't do in the classroom, forgetting to capitalize on the one thing that we always have, our children's imagination and their enthusiasm of learning. These things don't cost a penny. They are free to all educators." I'd like to thank you for allowing us to share and be happy to speak with anybody who would like to know more about us. I'll be here for the rest of the symposium, and as my colleagues as well. Thank you very much.